Another day of sub-zero temperatures brought on by the so-called polar vortex cancels another round of classes Monday, with more coming on Tuesday.
In fact, there was no 5-day school week for local students in the entire month of January. Delane Cleveland has more on what this all means for local school districts.
Due to the forecast of severe weather with dangerous wind chills,
A Minnesota winter is not for the faint of heart.
our district will be closed on Monday, January 27.
It requires a certain spirit to appreciate these conditions. Take, for instance, New Hope weather watcher Steve Reckers.
I get kind of excited. Some people might say that the weather watchers get a little perverse when we get excited about a really cold morning.
He's excited because his measurements have found that this winter could be one of the coldest on record.
It's unlikely to be the coldest. There were some really cold winters back in the late 70s, early 80s. But it might end up being in the top 5 in the last, since 1955.
That near-record cold has prompted school districts all over the state to cancel classes, leaving rows of school buses sitting idle.
Generally love winter, and even this is ridiculous.
Superintendent Kate McGuire of the Osseo area school district says they've canceled classes 4 times this month.
It's a more complex problem and decision than you might imagine.
She says deciding to close schools depends on several factors, such as wind chill temperature and whether buses can function properly and transport students on time.
Of course, we're concerned about a loss of instructional time, but I think even by now kids are getting sick and tired of it.
According to the Minnesota Department of Education, the minimum amount of instruction required for students in a school year is 165 days, or 1,020 hours.
And so as a result of the school closures, we, like other school districts, have now dropped a little bit below the minimum for secondary students.
However, they have not made the decision on whether to make up school days.
This is hooked up to the shelter.
Meantime, back at Steve Recker's house,
Minus 17.4 was the low this morning.
his readings indicate that local schools will have at least one more day to potentially make up.
I'm guessing that they've already set the precedent. I'm sure they'll probably close again tomorrow.
As we went to air Monday afternoon, we've learned that Osseo schools, Anoka-Hennepin, Brooklyn Center, Robbinsdale, and Wayzata all closed Tuesday due to a dangerous wind chill. As for makeup dates, the Osseo superintendent says that decision still requires more research to determine the value of making up those lost classes. Any decision on whether to do that wouldn't come for a few weeks. Mike?